YA book review for you of All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a standalone novel, and it's kind of unlike anything I've ever read before. I have read all of Maggie's books except for the Shiver books. I was kind of saving those, so I'll probably read those this winter. But I've read Ballad and Lament, which were her first books, and it's an unfinished trilogy, and I have reviews for those on this channel. And I've also read The Raven Cycle and Scorpio Races, which I have reviews for on this channel as well. All the Crooked Saints, her writing style is a little bit different, and I could see people not liking it, but I definitely enjoyed it. Each night when I would read, I'd find myself thinking like, oh, just one more chapter. Oh, just one more chapter. And I'd stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning reading it. It's not super long. It's a little over 300 pages. And I think it took me like 4 days because there was one day where I really didn't read any. But it is third-person narration, and it follows the Soria family who perform miracles. And so each generation there is a saint. And they live on a farm, which I'm probably going to butcher because I have no like Hispanic background. So excuse me with any Hispanic sounding names or Spanish words. Bicho Raro is the name of the ranch they live on in Colorado, because they were kind of pushed out of Mexico because of, you know, religion and the saints and stuff like that. So it doesn't really go into too much detail about that. So we follow the Soria family, but the main character that we really follow is Beatriz Soria, and she is like, I forget how old she is. I think she's like 17 or 18. And then we also have Pete Wyatt, who is not part of the Soria family, but he ends up hitching a ride with someone who's headed to the ranch for a miracle. And so by default, he kind of ends up in the situation. He was going there anyway because there was like a work truck that he wanted to obtain to turn into like a moving van, so he was going to work around the ranch in order to get this truck. And this is taking place in the, I think it was like the 1960s. I think it says like 1962 at the beginning. So Beatrice and her cousins have like a bootleg radio show, and it's like not known to the rest of the family. And the rest of the family, we get little pieces of their story, and there's a lot of tension in the relationships in this family. And part of the thing that adds the tensions is that when pilgrims come to the ranch for a miracle, they don't leave until the second miracle happens. So what happens is the first miracle reveals your darkness. And so your darkness is basically, the book talks about how everyone has darkness, and it's kind of metaphysical, and it talks about how, like, you know, shame, guilt, fear, and all of those kinds of things are darkness, and they manifest in some way. And basically what the pilgrim needs to do is to figure out how to make the darkness go away. So like, what are you not acknowledging kind of about yourself? And then once you acknowledge that about yourself, the darkness goes away. And then that's called the second miracle, and then the pilgrims leave the ranch. Well, the second miracle isn't happening, and the family kind of can't figure out why, and they keep building more space to accommodate the pilgrims. And the pilgrims are kind of like this ragtag group, more or less because their darkness in their first miracle takes on a physical manifestation of some kind. And some of them are like obvious, you know, as a reader you can figure out like what their issue or their darkness might be. But until they acknowledge it for themselves, the second miracle can't happen and it doesn't go away. So for example, there is a priest who has a coyote head in a man's body. There are two twin sisters who are wrapped around by a snake. And so there's these pilgrims and how they affect the lives of the Soria family. And what ends up kind of happening is a lot of the stuff Beatrice kind of, she's very logical, and she's known as the girl without feelings. And a lot of the stories are kind of tall tales. So when I was reading, I got a lot of vibes like Big Fish, if you've read that book or seen that movie. Okay, so my battery just totally died in the middle of that, and I'm not even exactly sure what I was saying. But essentially, I think I was talking about tall tales and how this book kind of reminded me of Big Fish, either the movie or the book. I've read the book and seen the movie. So it's a really unique story, and it's really difficult to kind of give away, like to do a review without giving anything away. It's not so much that it's a mystery as it is a journey. And because of the topic and a lot about the darkness and darkness inside of us, it really made me wonder if Maggie Stiefvater was going through something personally during this time, because I think it's such a metaphysical and deep soul journey kind of topic that I found it really interesting. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars, rounded up to 5. You know, I don't know why I didn't give it 5. You know, it just didn't resonate quite at that level for me. At times there were things I had to reread a couple times in order to like grasp the meaning, but I really love the story, and I definitely could see either people really liking this topic in this story or really, you know, thinking it's a little too out there or too strange for them. That kind of stuff is stuff that I really enjoy just personally. You know, reincarnation, metaphysical, speculative fiction, parallel universes, and all of that kind of stuff I really enjoy, and I love magic, of course. And so this story kind of has its own brand of magic. So if you're looking for a book that's really unique, I feel like Maggie Stiefvater is kind of a master storyteller. So if you're looking for a unique read or something different, check out All the Crooked Saints. In the meanwhile, happy reading and happy writing.